Well, this is a bracket for the Z-bar that goes to the clutch. You can see, I don't know if you can see that very well. You see that long bar, it actually attaches to the engine. And then that bar goes down to a rod that goes to the clutch fork. And this Z-bar, it actually cracked right up there. I welded it though, it's all fine. But we're going to replace it. The thing is, I'm not sure if how that nut's going to come out, or if it's going to come out real easy, because that nut is attached to a ball stud which spins inside that Z-bar. They call it a Z-bar because it goes up like that and it's like a Z, right? The one arm comes out from the pedal inside the car, and then the other arm, there's like a long tubular rod with a grease fitting, and there's like a bearing and a recyclable ball in there, and that rod goes down to that arm goes down to a rod that presses against the clutch fork. So that's my new part. Might not need it, but figured I'm going to change it out because, you know, who knows if my weld is great, but it's actually been in there for a couple years now. So maybe it is okay. So we're going to try popping it out with the impact, because if I think I put a wrench on it, it's just going to spin the ball stud in there. The impact's probably going to get it open. The impact did it, because what I had to do was keep pulling the trigger, boom, boom, boom. You know, I figured it might. If you didn't have an impact to take it off, because like I said, there's a ball it sits inside. It just spins. It just spins. So, you know, I think I put it on with some Loctite too. So there's the nut. This is going to be easy then. It's going to take these three screws out, and probably going to, you know what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to probably clean that off of there really good, put some JB weld on there too. So it's on there freaking solid as all hell. I don't really trust some of this garbage. You know, sometimes it's good to do things a little bit overkill, because, yeah, you don't change that part much. The reason that part started to fail was because there was a heavy duty clutch in it, and like the older style heavy duty clutches had a real heavy spring, and they really stressed out the components like the Z-bars and all that kind of garbage. It stressed out that bracket and started causing it to crack. And when I changed the clutch, I never really fixed the bracket till later on, till it started getting worse. I figured I'm ready to change it out. But today, if you get a heavy duty clutch, you can get one that grabs really hard without having a hard spring pressure that will not damage the brackets and the Z-bar and the fork. Usually the Z-bar. I remember a friend of mine back in the days, this is back like good 40 years ago or so, more than 40 years ago, 45 years ago, back when everybody was racing on the street. You know, when you installed a heavy-duty clutch, we were doubling up these brackets, and also even the pedal underneath the floor. The one I went to the clutch, that was doubled up. We'd actually weld more steel in there and actually get another pedal, cut the end of the pedal off, but it would actually have two arms welded, one welded to the other. But you don't have to do that today, because now they got stuff like the center force clutch that grabs at higher RPM with centrifugal force. But you know, if you're going with this, you really needed some leg. This thing did have a real heavy duty clutch in it, and actually that's what caused me to break this Saginaw trans one time. So, but we're changing this thing out right now, so it'll be good to go. Okay, that's in. And this, when I tightened the nut on there, it didn't have a problem where it would spin, because the slot was the right size to grip. Like, it's the stud that goes in there is like, it's got like a flat face on there. The slot in there was the right size, so no problem. But I don't even trust these. One of these bolts was a little stripped, probably could replace it, but I chemically cleaned the bracket and the frame, and I JB welded everything. So, plus JB welded the bolts in here, so that's some old JB weld left over, so I doubt that is going anywhere. So, just going to put a quick coat of freaking truck bed lining over it so it don't rust, and it'll keep everything pretty. Just give it a quick coat of truck bed lining, but that stuff is better than any kind of engine paint, just that stuff. And you can see, like when I made that bracket, the hole I had to cut a slot there. It was all cracked, so it wasn't really up to, I guess you couldn't make it like new, build up a part on it or something, build up a piece, but easier just to buy another one. So, but that should be good to go. That stupid bracket actually hasn't been, after I welded it, it was the best it ever was, but the car actually had slop in a clutch pedal even when I first got it because of that heavy duty clutch. So now I'm going to go on and grease and everything, so get everything greased up and grease that Z bar. There's actually a fitting right there. You can see it right there on the bottom. A lot of people forget about greasing that. If you take your car in, like an old car or something, to get greased, they probably forget about doing it. New people don't even know about doing that damn thing, because most of the clutch pedals today, they got a master and slave cylinder, or maybe even got a cable. They don't have the Z-bar stuff. I like this manual linkage a lot better.